Buongiorno, buongiorno, ciao ragazzi, ciao Donald, bentornato. Ah, ci sei solo tu, guarda. Ci sei solo tu. Va bene, me lo aspettavo una scarsa frequenza, cioè una scarsa partecipazione considerando che è venerdì pomeriggio, però ci sta. Sappiamo che le gare 2 delle di Mazda, quelle pomeridiane, è difficile che ci sia gente a seguire oltre a noi. Scusate, come potete capire dalla voce, non mi sono ancora ripreso al 100%, purtroppo, e stasera sarà divertente. Stasera sarà davvero divertente gestire una live di 4 ore. Farò il possibile, mal che vada, mi date una mano voi se... Mi date una mano voi se ci sarà qualcun altro oltre a me. Come stai, Donald? Ah, allora, prima di tutto... No, vabbè, a che ora ci vai? Peccato perché Mission Pilot inizia alle 7:30 e inizia alle 7:30 e finisce giustamente alle 11:30. Anch'io stasera in teoria sarei dovuto uscire perché c'è la festa di compleanno di una nostra amica e non so mica se ce la faccio ad andare, vacca boia. Allora, a proposito, io devo fare la storia. Ma che ora vai? Allora, il video che vi ho girato sul Telegram lo devo... Che non me lo... Ah, devo scaricarlo. Lo uso ovviamente come storia. Per stasera parto alle 21. Ti perdi il finale allora. Anzi, ti perdi proprio... vabbè, oh. Ti riguarderai poi il VOD. Poi, non so se avete visto, sto cominciando a caricarle anche su YouTube, quindi modo per poterlo rivedere c'è. Le Mazda ieri le ho ricaricate e non ci sono stati problemi di copyright, cose varie, quindi... Allora, qua come si è messi, apro e poi posito, perché sono le 16:10, quindi teoricamente dovrebbe partire. Allora, vediamo se ci siamo. Ricordo che la gara delle Mazda in live anche su YouTube. Ho visto Luca. Forse per quello che non mi hanno rotto le balle a ricaricare la puntata di ieri, cioè la live di ieri sera. Però frega cazzi. Oh, anche perché ci siamo, beccato proprio giusto, giusto. Aspettate che muto perché queste due canzoni sono le uniche due che mi hanno dato fastidio e che rompono le balle come copyright. Anche a sto giro l'abbiamo beccata proprio giusta giusta. Speriamo di essere così sui pezzi, sul pezzo del fanno ovviamente riassunto di gara 1 che c'è stato ieri. Spettacolare, cioè gara spettacolare ieri sera. Bagar a non finire. Ciao Bonale, bentornato ragazzo. Luca, vedi che anche loro lo pronunciano Wagner. Bella dread.
È un'altra canzone proprio. Dragon Ball Z proprio non è manco una canzone italiana. Smettiamola di regalare palle al drago. Palle del drago. Mi manca il Saturn. Danna l'hai beccata pure channel, quindi. Mi manca il Saturn. Saturn era bello.
Bella dread, ben arrivato. Allora, c'è da vedere se Wagner ha voglia di vincere anche gara 2. Parte di nuovo dietro nelle qualifiche, è ottavo, ieri era tipo 11esimo, 12esimo, adesso non mi ricordo, però poi comunque ha vinto la gara. Thomas in pole, sto giro. Zilic, che ieri partiva in pole, è al momento in 11esima posizione, quindi già la partenza rispetto a gara 1 è completamente differente, però sarà interessante. Mi è scammato un messaggio su Telegram. Cretino che sei. Ho scammato un messaggio su Telegram. Ah, no, non l'ho scammata, l'ho letto, solo che poi stando di merda. Lo so, l'ho letta, ma poi mi sono completamente dimenticato. Aggiungere una riga di testo. Vabbè, poi la guardiamo. Comunque dipende dalla riga di testo che vuoi aggiungere, perché se è qualcosa legato a, che ne so, chi ha raidato, chi ha fatto partire l'hypertrain, sono tutte informazioni che ci metti la spunta su Streamerbot per abilitarle. Se invece devi aggiungere fisicamente una scritta, all'interno del codice la inserisci, la scrivi e ti viene inserita. Comunque ci siamo, safety car che rientra. Allora devi inserirla nel codice. Comunque, non distraiamoci. Stiamo per partire, gara 2 delle Mazda, sempre a Daytona, sempre 45 minuti, sempre divertimento e imprevedibilità in queste gare. Senti dalla voce limpida e pulita quanto mi sto riprendendo. Per assurdo sto messo peggio di ieri. Ieri sera ero messo un pochino meno. Che rischio. Who actually got right up on the bumper of Jared Thomas to give him a push, making sure that John Som couldn't work his way in and weasel in between the two cars. But now Julian finding himself back in third, settling into that position and learning from two veterans of the series who have a good deal of race wins between the two of them.
So don't forget, we talk about the cash at the end of this race, but points gained not just at the end of this race, Shay, will go into the prize pot, if you will, for the championship season.
10 points earned from pole position. That's already gone the way of Jared Thomas. 10 more points up for the fastest lap.
Ciao Andre, bentornato ragazzo. Almeno questa te la guardi. Ieri ti sei perso un finale della Madonna, Andre. Non so se poi sei riuscito ad andare a rivedere, se hai visto il VOD o se hai visto seguitemi su YouTube, ragazzi, perché le ricarico anche sul mio canale YouTube, ve lo ricordo, punto esclamativo YouTube, andatevi a iscrivere. Spero tu sia riuscita a rivedertela, perché è stato un finale assurdo.
For the whole season. I can't help but go a bit Austin Powers when I say that. It's an extraordinary amount of money, and Mazda literally putting their money where their sport is with the Mazda MX-5 Cup.
this is something we didn't see yesterday.
6 cars.
There's 6 cars at the front group, and they are working 2 by 2. It's interesting because only one of the 2 Rick Ware cars is actually up there right now, and that is the number 52 of Preston Pardis, a man who knows Mazda.
Ok, non c'è la grafica dei nomi, però al momento abbiamo Thomas davanti, seguito da Jason, 56, no, non era Zilic, non mi ricordo chi è il 56. Di nuovo 54 ieri è stata protagonista di 3 fuoripista, spin varie, cose varie. Hanno spinto contatto, hanno spinto Wagner che ne ha fatto perdere il posteriore per un attimo, poi c'è stato un contattino. Da Costa, tutto da rifare. È finito tanto dietro. Bella il Pepo, bentornato. Bentornato ragazzo. Stasera 4 ore di Mission Pilot, alle 7:30 parte la gara, quindi organizzatevi con la cena soprattutto. Lascia stare, va. Lascia stare che sembra un travione brasiliano. Che senso non ci sei, Terminator, adesso o stasera? Puttana, amore. Come, che cazzo c'hai da fare stasera? Alle 6 di sera, ragazzi. Alle 18 parte la Rolex 24.
There is a JTR train leading the field right now. Aaron Johnson, car number 24 for Turn 2, which is an organization based out of Northern California.
Vabbè. Tanto lo sai che fanno riassunti in continuazione ogni 2 ore. Quindi. Aspetta che vado a controllare. Perché non vorrei aver detto una cazzata.
One of those rookies that we're talking about, learning very, very quickly how to run in the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup. He was second in the shootout coming into this year, so we walked away with a comedy big check for $80,000. And right now, he's got the 2-time champ on his bumper. He is showing Jared Thomas which way to go around the track, and now Connor Zilic has joined the fun because why not?
Sun has come out, track temperature will start to rise. This might affect.
Allora, la Rolex 24, l'1:30 PM ore locali, quindi 1 più 6 fa le 3, sì, 19:30. 19:30 inizia la gara. Mustang in pole. No, hai capito malissimo. Le Mustang sono tanto dietro, hanno fatto un po' cagare. Se intendi nelle GT3. Sì, per forza GT3 perché no, le Mustang sono dietro. Pole della Lexus, sia in GTD che in GTD Pro, entrambe le Lexus sono davanti. Sì, Peppo. O semplicemente devi cominciare a seguire in maniera assidua pellemotorsport.com, perché lo sapete, lo sai benissimo anche tu, tutte le cose, tutte le informazioni le troviamo lì sul sito del nostro buon Luca, come per esempio anche l'informazione legata al fatto che è stato modificato il BOP per alcune macchine. Adesso non mi ricordo nel dettaglio quale, però anche Luca ha comunicato questa cosa sul gruppo Telegram, ma se volete vederla nel dettaglio andate a leggere su Pelle Motorsport. Vabbè, dettagli, Luchino. Non è che puoi mettere proprio tutto. Diciamo che stavo meglio ieri sera, per assurdo. Infatti stasera avrò bisogno di voi, cercherò di parlare il meno possibile perché ho di nuovo la gola in fiamme, ma più che altro mi fa male la parte sotto del costato dove c'è il diaframma, perché stanotte ho starnutito, tossito troppo e mi fa male addirittura respirare.
But these open top cars with the FIA roll cage in them, they make a big hole in the air, and that's a
Nicholson nella 56, ok, adesso me lo memorizzo.
disturbed air. There's very little aero on these cars, so you pick up a huge slipstream, a draft, and where better to exploit that than here on the high banks of Daytona. Out of turn 6 and onto the far side of the circuit once again. Let's see where the moves start to come.
Surely they'll behave line astern going into the Le Mans chicane. They'll stay 2 by 2.
Gresham Wagner down in 12th position, 13th position. And I think he's just out of that lead group.
Yeah, he's biding his time at this point. He did that yesterday in the race too and wound up first across the finish line as they go 3 wide into the Le Mans chicane, and taking the lead is Nathan Nicholson for the first time in his young career in this championship. But he has Connor Zilic and Tyler Gonzalez right behind him, 2 guys who know how to win at this place.
To the high side then, well, I think we can call them veterans, these two, as they go up and over.
Esattamente come ieri, rivediamo il bump di spinta per allontanare o per chiudere le distanze. E qua adesso sono in 10 che se la giocano, dietro c'è un 3 wild che si chiude un trenino. Thomas ieri ha fatto un paio di numeri passando in interno, cioè dall'altra parte della doppia linea gialla. È stata una gran gara, mamma mia, le Mazda divertono sempre, sono spettacolari le gare delle Mazda, cazzo.
Middle of the circuit in the classic Mazda Orlando sponsored car. Then Tyler Gonzalez, mostly white car with the yellow rollover hood. There's red and green as well for Tyler. Very proud of his heritage.
Ma secondo voi uno che streama in queste condizioni è perché è amante del motorsport o è amante vostro che vuole condividere queste gare con voi? O è semplicemente un coglione?
And now all of a sudden Celine Roland up into 5th. Remember I said that Connor Zilic was willing his teammate forward? It's worked. All of a sudden Celine is in the fight for the lead.
That's the white car with the blue and yellow. Easy to spot even from up high in our global broadcast centre share. Adam John Hindorf with 35 minutes of this still to go. Yes, that's right. This isn't the last lap. We'll have this going on for more than half an hour, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining us for 2024. More of the same, big wiggle.
E spinge la signora Fletcher.
Race director had a stern word with everybody after all those bumpers were dislodged yesterday. Pretty much all of that was happening on the high banks.
And it does seem none of the bumpers came off.
Grazie Ciccio.
Bad, but safety-wise, everybody was.
Stasera ci sei, Pippo, sì. Ok che adesso c'è la riunione, però stasera ti voglio qua presente,
Extended or extensive pushing and contact on the high banks. That's very close. That might be too close. That might be being looked at. Also, of course, no cooling air going into the front.
Cazzo, sono tutti lì, sono molto più compatti. Sono molti di più e molto più compatti rispetto a ieri. Ok che ieri effettivamente verso metà gara si sono staccati i 2 grupponi. C'erano 10-11 macchine davanti che se la giocavano e poi tutto il resto dietro. A vederle così però sono molto più compatti oggi. Ok. Ah già è vero, scemo, l'hai detto prima. Ah, scusate. Disabilito. Può disabilitare il refresh dei Pokémon.
I think we'll find out.
What did he hit out there? That's going to be an interesting one to find out. We'll get some news on that, I'm sure, in a moment or two, as Tyler Gonzalez now heads to the lead.
Guardalo il Gonzalez oggi, scatenato.
Very sophisticated racing cars. If you watch us talk about them a lot, you'll know that they come in from Japan as a stock showroom car.
Ah, non l'ho letto. Ma quale incidente, scusa?
To point out, we do stay green.
Yeah.
No need for a Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup safety car as of yet, which is a shame because it's so beautiful.
It's fine to see it at the start and the end.
Che è successo?
Yeah, I like to see a nice clean race. So showroom stock cars come to the US, go to the brothers Fliss, who
È andato in buffer. Ok.
engine is taken out, sealed with a Mazda Motorsport set of seals put to one side. The rest of the car then pretty much stripped to its bare shell. And the cage fire suppression system, the new
Scusate ragazzi, un po' di...
racing gearbox is
Stranamente un po' di buffering. Dopo devo pulire un po'.
refitted in the car, racing seat, racing steering wheel. All kinds of data. And a huge
Cazzo! Caution, abbiamo una caution, abbiamo una caution. Abbiamo una caution. Abbiamo una caution. Pericolo, 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 così in mezzo, pericolo.
Interestingly, I think that is a look.
Cazzo, che botta che ha preso.
I'm sure it will be upgraded because the cars are still racing on the infield. We've not yet got full course yellow. Now it comes on. So were there any passes made in the intervening four corners?
Ok.
Coming into the trial.
Ok, va bene. Caution, ovviamente safety car e prepariamoci perché almeno 10 minuti, quarto d'ora partiranno. Andiamo a vedere il replay. Come l'ha persa? L'ha toccato. Thomas ha esagerato a toccarlo dietro con il bump. L'ha persa. E Coso ha cercato di frenare e se l'è trovato davanti. Non potevo andare da nessuna parte. Ma Peppo mi sa, cioè su assetto corsa i 180-190 li prendevi. In una conformazione come questa qui a Daytona, così considerando anche la scia, secondo me i 200 all'ora li pigliano. Cioè in quel punto lì molto probabile che stessero viaggiando attorno ai 200 all'ora. Quindi effettivamente giocarsela con i bump alla NASCAR è difficile da gestire. Se perdi un attimino posteriore è andata. Non le recuperi più. No, non così forte. Non così tanto forte. Poi sinceramente non lo so. Bisognerebbe, non so, Donald, tu ti ricordi se per caso queste macchinette andavano oltre i 200 in assetto corsa?
Features of the Mazda MX-5 Cup car have done their job. He's fine, he's moving in the car, and young Nate Nicholson as well.
I think Nathan might have been talking to the safety workers going, can't I just drive it straight back across the grass and get to the pit lane? And they're going, no.
Our AMR safety team talked to them at breakfast this morning.
Allora mi sbagliavo io. Sbagliavo io. Allora probabilmente stavano andando proprio a cannone.
They are the most experienced people at a racetrack that we never want to see them use their experience, basically. Great set of men and women, love their motor racing. Hello to DJ and the rest of...
No, Donald, effettivamente se... che non mi ricordo, è vero, le abbiamo usate 1000 volte su GT Italia, ma non mi ricordo minimamente le velocità di punta di queste macchine. Anche perché comunque per tirarle proprio a pieno, cioè il miglior modo per tirare una macchina è esattamente così, su un ovale, in scia. Potrebbe anche darsi che mi passino i 220, 230, ci sta.
Definitely Jared Thomas that started that into the wall for Preston Pardus, and then Nicholson's car arrives at the scene of the accident. They're really worrying. How did Pardus keep that car down low with all that suspension damage? The worrying
Sì,
bit is
grazie.
when Nicholson
No,
went
no,
over the
no.
circuit
No.
completely
Appena
at
messo
that
il...
point as a passenger.
No, ho preso un
4
doppio
cars
stamattina.
avoid him, and then he's stuck in the middle of the track, and there's a bit of drafting going on there as well with cars coming through, and it's so easy to be unsighted there, shit.
It
And
really
that's
is.
quick. That's quick down there. They've not scrubbed.
Ha fatto di tutto per evitarlo, solo
No,
che...
and even when you see the yellows from that far away, it is hard to get the car slowed down with so much momentum. These are 2,500-pound cars. Let's not forget they are heavy and they're safe. They're built with these safety equipment and cages incorporated in.
Guardate che siano bene, che non si siano fatto poi.
Necessarily, but good news to see Preston Pardis out of that stricken car, down going into the entrance of turn 1, as now the field is under the control of the safety car, and we do have flatbed trucks coming around the track, so these cars will not flat tow, which means we'll be behind.
Sono allergico al peperoncino, Pepo. Se mangio peperoncino muoio direttamente.
27 minutes to go. The first big incident of the 2024 Whelen Mazda MX-5.
Ma non è tanto il naso tappato, è la gola in fiamme, è la gola che mi fa male. Il naso tappato, chi se ne.
You don't know whether to stick or twist in
Fanculo, va.
situations like that. You're coming along, particularly if you're in a pack, even lifting off. If the
Che
guys
bello.
behind haven't seen it,
Ma che
they're
bello.
likely to get a tap, but certainly
Davvero, quanto potrebbe essere figo campeggiare lì dentro. Guarda che
I
bello.
want to jump on the brakes.
Spettacolo.
You can't. You have to be cognizant of what's going on around you and start to pick your way through. That's hard enough with one car. When it's two or multiple cars that are moving in different directions.
And when you're going at a good rate of speed to begin with, because
Well, that's flat out round here.
exactly, that's not exactly taking your time. Hello to all the fans.
220 la stradale, quindi sì, figurati la versione Cup.
Last night, can't imagine why. This would be a wonderful alarm clock for you.
Esatto, esatto,
It's going
Pepo.
to be a big crowd for the 62nd running of the Rolex 24 Hours of Daytona. And Mazda, I think now there would be a riot if we took the Whelen Mazda MX-5s off the Daytona.
Tranquillo, donna, tranquillo. Tanto mi sa che ne avremo ancora per almeno 5 minuti prima del riavvio.
Mazda MX-5 Cup car, the Whelen influence on that car, clear to see with the hazard lights. Whelen, one of the biggest suppliers of emergency lighting for first responders around the world, and we learned yesterday about how they use satellite technology to synchronize on first response vehicles, which is one of the coolest things I have ever heard or seen. Get online and search it. It is absolutely brilliant to watch. Clear up continues. We're under yellow flag at almost half distance of round 2 of the 2024 season. And delighted to say that joining us in the Global Broadcast Centre is Brad O'Day, the Chief Marketing Officer for Mazda North America. Brad, thank you for being with us.
Che cazzo?
Sad to see that we're not racing at the moment, but it gives us the perfect opportunity to talk to you. Another great season of Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup underway yesterday and carrying on today. You must be delighted with what you've seen already.
Spero non faccia altrettanto lo stronzo stasera e soprattutto sabato con sti buffering.
You know, this track is fantastic. Racing and the drafting that the teams get, the racers get on this straightaway makes for super exciting racing. And you could have
Dopo, Ciccio,
coming around
buona riunione.
and you don't know who's going to win. They're all just a millisecond apart from each other. So, I mean, we've talked about it a lot over the years, and in my view, this is probably some of the best racing out there right now.
Well, it's a North American championship, and it's Mazda North America who put this together in support. Are you aware of the global reach that this championship has?
Well, we have fans all over the world. We're very appreciative of everybody, their enthusiasm for this racing, and like I've said, it's fantastic racing. It's affordable racing. It's accessible racing. It's awesome to see these young kids, you know, kind of growing up into the sport and doing amazing things. So Miles is glad to be a part of it.
When I got out of the track last night, which was quite late, I checked some of the messages and some of the message boards. The guys down in Australia on the Shakedown message board. We've got people at Dubai this weekend for the 24 hours at Dubai. The amount of love for this championship globally is massive. What do you put that down to, and why is the MX-5 still, I mean, it's not in its first flush of youth now, in its fourth iteration, but few tweaks for the street car for 2024. What do you put the success of this championship down to?
Well, I think it's a lot of things. I mean, one is you know, the MX-5 has been a fantastic sports car that revived the love of driving, you know, when it was first introduced some time ago. And I think, you know, it's still a very accessible and affordable car. And from a driving characteristics standpoint, you know, that car, its balance allows you to drive that car and have a kind of a visceral exhilaration that you know, you don't get from cars that are under $100,000, right? So I think it's that piece of it, and I think also is that, you know, these are family teams that are out here working hard every day, racing really well, and I can see the global enthusiasm for the series because the car has a lot of visibility and acceptance around the world, and I think people love the competition of it, right? So
Mazda globally has a philosophy of right sizing, whether that's how big the battery is in a hybrid to make sure it doesn't add too much weight. We've just seen in the UK the introduction of a straight six diesel engined M60, which is just a phenomenal car. We've got a rotary engine range extender in.
Hanno tirato via le macchine o cosa?
The MX-30, which I've driven and is phenomenally clever. It really is. Is that part of what makes Mazda Mazda? It's not the biggest car company in the world, but is it the cleverest?
Well, I think ingenuity plays a big part of who we are as a challenger brand, right? And trying to find different ways to bring the joy of driving to life for customers around the world. And yeah, we do seek alternative ways of doing things. We kind of call it our challenger spirit. And I think it's really important, and we're in an industry right now with a variety of different powertrain needs for different customers around the world, and you know, Mazda still attract customers that love to drive. So we do put a lot of our emphasis on the engineering of our vehicles. We try to make our cars very human-centric in the way that we engineer them. We put the driver in the middle of everything that we do, and you know, we do make some compromises to get the ideal driving.
And whichever car you get behind the wheel of, as soon as you get hold of that nice thick steering wheel, you feel a little bit of the MX-5 in every single one of them. I know you say it, but it's absolutely true. Brad, final question. We've got Brad O'Depth with us, from Mazda USA. How long can you keep the Mazda MX-5 in production, given everything in the automotive world?
Spento le luci, si riparte.
We saw at the Tokyo Auto Salon that we had a new interpretation, a concept car of another sports car that will have very similar characteristics to the MX-5. And I think as long as there's sufficient demand in the marketplace for these kinds of cars, we're going to continue to try to build them. And you know, our goal is to really continue to bring the joy of driving to life in a world of automotive that's maybe losing a little bit of humanity and a little bit of soul. So people still love to drive.
We love to drive, and we love that you're doing it. 3 pedals. Still have to master that heel and toe. Brad O'Depth, thank you very much indeed for coming in. We'll see you throughout the season, I hope. More than a couple of times.
Sir. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you.
For the joy of driving Mazda and the MX-5, and that was the voice of Chief Marketing Officer for Mazda North America, Brad O'Depth, and we thank Mazda for the continued support of this series, and indeed the Miata Cup and the Spec Series. That's where a lot of these drivers have come from, Shay Adam.
Yep, and our Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup safety car has pulled back into the pit lane. The field is once again under the control of Connor Zilic as they come through NASCAR Turn 4. Line astern, no passing yet because the green flag is not out, but as soon as it flies, it is fair game once again. And then we're back to racing with 18.5 minutes to go.
Take a deep breath. It might be the last one you get in the next 18.5 minutes. Green flag, and we're racing again in round 2 of the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup.
E si riparte.
In the front of the field, Connor
Prepariamoci per 18 minuti di coltello tra i denti. Se ne daranno di santa ragione fin da subito.
Adam is just smiling gently to my right. Picked him out earlier on as he was coming through in the second now. Then it's Jared Thomas. Reviewed post-race, by the way, that incident that started that involving Jared Thomas. And remember, we still have the 10-second penalty on Tyler Gonzalez.
Which right now would have him finishing in the 25th position.
Well, he needs a clean race now and a couple of gaps to break up to try and make some kind of gap, because if it's a safety car finish and everyone is behind, then he's going to be way out of the points, and that's going to have a huge impression on his championship, the start of his championship season.
And more important for his team, because Sato Motorsport Group, he is the only representative, so they really need him to do well in the race.
Silic from Celine Roland, and it is now Jared Thomas who's eased his way into third, then at about 2 or 3 car lengths to 1 car length it's
half a car length.
Gonzalez, here he comes down the inside, pushed by Aaron Johnson.
No, Jeremy Fletcher.
It's Jeremy Fletcher, excuse me. Wow, and Gonzalez goes all the way up to second and slides through the right-hander at the Le Mans chicane. That was a bold maneuver, and he really stuck it in there. I think he knows
Guarda,
to be at the sharp.
Gonzalez l'ha buttata dentro in derapata.
He does, and he needs
Che ingresso, cazzo.
You know, if I'm the team, I don't think I would have told him at this point that you've got a 10-second penalty, because he would have pulled into the pit lane. There are still the bonus points.
Non attaccarti, passalo.
He's led some laps, although I think once again the bonus points this way are looking the way of Connor Zilic, especially if he stays out front.
Zilic then leads them across the line as we complete the 11th lap. 5 cars with a tiny little break. In 6th position, Jean Jodouin is trying to come back to them, and there's a spin.
Julian DaCosta, I believe, spinning through turn 1, not his race today. And yes, it is. He gets rejoined, though, and continues around, but now he's lost the main pack. My motion there was a woe, because Jean Jodouin has showed up with a great head of steam coming through the tri-oval across the start-finish line. He is
DaCosta oggi non ci sta dentro.
Gresham Wagner, 2 of his teammates.
That's the light-coloured car at the head of the second group. Gresham Wagner behind him in the darker-coloured cars. They go through the king, the dog leg, the 22 in there is Jeremy Fletcher. He had a good race yesterday. Now here's Weston Workman working his way through as well. What's he learned from yesterday? Scholarship recipient and using that to come into the full championship for a full season in that dark purple number 22 car. Was 9th across the line, sitting in that secondary pack. There's still just a tiny gap, maybe 10 or a dozen cars lengths between the top 5. Then Jean Jodouin and Gresham Wagner trying to bridge that gap. Then the third group rather, led by Jeremy Fletcher on the high side. Coming down the bottom is Weston Workman, being pushed through by
Aaron Johnson.
Aaron Johnson, yes.
Remember how I said they all have teammates? Well, that's starting to disappear at this point of the race.
We didn't see this yesterday, Shay.
Nope.
It was a huge pack of nearly a dozen Mazda MX-5s all the way through with no interruption from the safety car. And I just wonder if that safety car period, 1 or 2 people have either lost temperature and pressure in their Michelin tyres, or maybe they've just got to put another heat cycle through them.
Or gain temperature in themselves.
Well,
and all of a sudden the hot heads are starting to prevail.
It's a very good point, well made. Fletcher then leading that third group. What about this second trio of cars? They're trying to come across. This is a bit like the final stages of a Grand Tour cycle race. You've got the peloton out front, then a couple of breakaway groups. And it's Tyler Gonzalez. He wants pace. He's not playing.
Mossona di Gonzalez.
Keep his foot down, and he's going to make people drag past him because he's got to break this field up. At the moment, with 10 seconds, he would be down in 22nd position and getting no points.
Gonzalez leading from Zilic and Roland, those two from BSI, Gonzalez from Sato Motorsport Group. Then we have Jared Thomas of JTR Motorsport Engineering, Nate Cicero rounding out the top 5 from MMR. Cicero did not get to race yesterday. He had an electrical issue fairly early on. He was our only DNF. So Cicero not only is digging himself out of a huge points disadvantage yesterday, having finished 28th, he is looking to try and prove that he is a championship contender right off the beginning of the year.
Gonzalez continues to push the envelope. He's got Connor Zilic right there. Gonzalez trying not to defend, but he doesn't want Zilic to come through and slow the pace. That's why he's trying to stay out front. A little flash of the brake legs there from Gonzalez. He's not trying to spook the guy behind. He's making sure that the brake pads are in contact with the brake disc, the brake rotor, because he's coming from well over plenty miles an hour here down into the Le Mans chicane, turning left and squaring the curb off, then right again, and then straightening and out the exit. And there's still 3 distinct groups at the front of the field with 12 minutes to go. 10 seconds though will still put Tyler Gonzalez down outside the top 20.
That first group of 5 cars, though, they are being closed down upon by the second group of a further 9 cars. So this battle for the win is not yet done. We still have a lot of racing to go with just under 12 minutes remaining on the clock.
Another sideways moment in that third group as they came across the tri-oval, but it's Gonzalez at the front of the lead. Sure, you made a very good point. Gonzalez, by staying there, is racking up the laps led here. Now, we lost a couple under safety car, but that's something else that the other drivers behind him can't ignore.
As it is right now, it still goes advantage Zilic, but it is close. If Tyler Gonzalez stays out for the rest of the laps, he can claim those 10 bonus points.
So that's why he's still pushing on. But here comes Gresham Wagner in 6th position, leading the second group, which is stretched from 3 cars to 4, and Wagner in the dark-coloured number 5 tries to hook on to the leading quintet as they're on the west end of the infield at the moment. Tyler Gonzalez in the white car with the green and red stripes, leading it with just under 11 minutes to go at Daytona.
Connor Zilic has been warned for continuous contact on the banking. That is his one. He's got that strike now. If he does it again, race control will take action. Now Connor Zilic has used up his this is okay, right guys, card. He doesn't have that anymore.
He's right there again. But this time there is daylight between the 2 cars. That's about as close he can get. There's a little bump and he drops away. There's a little bump and he drops away. That's not what race control are looking at. They're looking at that continuous contact and sustained contact onto the back straight. Bus stop chicane, as it was formerly known, renamed by Mr. France in a ceremony a couple of years ago. That was yet another handshake between Daytona 24 and Le Mans 24. The first chicane on the Le Mans long straight, the ligne droite en arrière, or the Mulsanne straight as the Brits call it. That is now the Daytona chicane, and that one has the Daytona logo and script on it. This one has the Le Mans logo and script on it.
Che ci prova.
As we now
Che ci prova.
the leadership, it's go time for Jared Thomas, who has just pushed through the number 83 of Nate Cicero to the lead. That's McCumbin Magnalia Racing working with JTR.
And as I said, it is all hands off at this point. We've got MMR leading JTR, leading Sato. They're all coming together once again. Then 2 cars from BSI, and then 2 further cars from MMR. So yesterday we saw the strength of that team finishing 1st and 3rd. Well, now they've got 3 cars up inside the top 8.
I reckon there's 9 cars in that leading group now. Alex Batura in the 33 and 10th tries to bring the second group back across. They're round about 1.5 seconds or 2 seconds away. No, it's about 1.5 seconds at the moment. So we've seen before in these races that sometimes it comes down to strategy,
Emilio.
sometimes it comes down to bravery, sometimes it comes down to just a bit of good fortune. Which one of those will play out in the next 8.5 minutes around Daytona? round 2 of the 2024 championship. Nate Cicero pushed to the front by Jared Thomas, who's there in second place. Third for Connor Zilic in the red and white car. Fourth for the white, green and red of Tyler Gonzalez. Here comes Celine Roland again down the inside. Behind him is...
No, che in 13. 9 sono. Sono solo 9. E se la stanno giocando brutalmente lì davanti. Gli altri sono dei gregari che si sono avvicinati adesso, che hanno sfruttato un po' di scia. Qui c'è già stata anche una caution. Bella botta di due che sono andati a muro. Però allo stesso come ieri gara iper combattuta. Però sì, c'hai ragione, si sono avvicinati. Guardalo Roland dove si infila all'interno. Si è arrivato lungo Zilic. Perso un botto di posizione, passato davanti, adesso è ottavo, decimo. Tanto si rifà anche sotto il rookie. Workman si fa nuovamente vedere davanti a rompere le balle.
Half a lap or so to clean that up, and there's some debris as well underneath Jared Thomas's car on the right front. He may have picked up some tyre detritus as well. 6 minutes 20.
Tutto da rifare, Cicero di nuovo davanti con Thomas a seguire.
Now we have we got another car on the back of that? Is that Bashura who's got to the back of there?
I believe it is. And Alex Bashura is actually racing this weekend with a heavy heart in loving memory of Albert Bashura on the side of his car and several
Ancora 2 giri dopo questo. Ma i tempi sono quelli. Ciao Andre, bentornata ragazza. Sì, non sono ancora al 100% purtroppo. Più che altro mi sto trattenendo il più possibile per stasera. Bloccaggio anche dietro.
It'll come round and just catch, and he'll have to release the brake, and then come round and just catch, and he'll have to release the brake.
It's not going to get any better for Connor Zilic for the next 5 minutes.
It is a horrible thing to have when you know that there's no time to stop and change it, and there's certainly not that at the moment. Gresham Wagner at the back of this group pushing Jeremy Fletcher, who goes to the high side. There's a lot of movement around, 4 across the track as in comes Connor Zilic. Yep. I suspect this is because he won't get to the end. Or has he been assessed a penalty?
Nope.
Yes. No, that was a warning for Jared Thomas. Jared Thomas has had a warning for continuous contact on the banking.
They have a new tire for Zilic, but with this lap and probably 2 more to go, is it worth it? That's the 55. That's Jonathan Neudorf going around. New colors on his car this year. He's going to be the only one running a light blue, and he shows up and almost everyone is in light blue. So Jonathan was not very happy to see everybody for the photos the other day.
I'm not sure that he was...
No, non dimmi se è fermata lì così. No, dai che mi parte la caution. Leva quella macchina da lì.
Was that Bashura?
Leva quella macchina da lì, cazzo.
Had to have been Bashura. That was the car that was behind him. He did have contact with Jean Somme, actually, as he was spinning around as well. Aaron continuing on. We'll see if race control evaluates that situation.
He has resumed, but well down the field. 4 minutes to go.
Still Sato Motorsport Group leading the way with Tyler Gonzalez, but with that 10-second penalty to come, it's going to...
Se non mi leva quella macchina da lì, chiamo la caution. E Gonzalez adesso vince. Vediamo come va la situa.
He could do with a little bit of a schmozzle behind him that slows a few cars up and pushes them back into the group, but having that spin for
Mamma mia, come scivola la Mazda di Gonzalez. È ripartito?
3:23 to go. There's a good Mazda number. Now 3:18. Coming down to the tri-oval. Gonzalez, another lap led for him. Is he going to steal the 10 points away from Zilich? It's going to be close.
Edo, se la stanno giocando di brutto esattamente come ieri, con in più che c'è stata una caution importante a 25 minuti dalla fine, e quindi sono 18 minuti che se le stanno dando di santa ragione. E Gonzalez è lanciato, all'Italia è lanciato. Comunque ciao ragazzo, bentornato. Ti vedo stasera, ci fai compagnia per il Mission Pilot? Sì, adesso ultimi 2 giri. Sbavatura in uscita per Gonzalez, l'ha persa leggermente in uscita passando sul cordolo, quindi per salvarla ha dovuto allargare e ha perso 2 posizioni. Gonzalez ha una penalità di 50. Ok, quindi è inutile che corre. 10 secondi, gira che ti rigira, mi arriva. Era 14esimo giù di lì. Guarda quanti cazzo sono. 10 secondi sono 13esima posizione. Ricordiamo che qui tutti vanno a punti, quindi in ogni caso concludere la gara è una cosa buona perché porti comunque a casa punteggio. Guardate il treno dietro, guardate il treno dietro. Guardate il treno dietro come si muove. Perché Gonzalez non ne approfitta e va in esterno? Esci. Ultimo giro e già inizia così l'ultimo giro, cazzo. Cicero davanti a Thomas, hanno fatto la gara loro due lì davanti e adesso all'ultimo giro si ritrovano di nuovo lì davanti con Cicero e Thomas in battaglia. Workman, questo rookie che già ieri ha regalato un'ottima prestazione, cazzo, è di nuovo lì. Però abbiamo visto che tutto può cambiare all'ultima curva. Tyler's got a 10-second penalty, throws it in from a long way back and gets hammered by the number 22 of Fletcher. And Jared Thomas. Ok, Edo. Importante che tu abbia. Che botta dietro. Che no! Will not be maintaining that streak. He was taken off the track by that push and Weston Workman also with damage. Well, that was Tyler Gonzalez going down the inside of. Ma che cazzo! Sembrava il trenino degli autoscontri che facevamo noi da piccoli. Cicero non lo pigliano più. Non lo pigliano più Cicero. Non lo piglia più. At the front of the field, Nate Cicero then leads it from McCumbee McAleer racing into the Le Mans chicane for the final time. He's on his own. We saw this yesterday. I'm not sure there's enough going on. And side by side again, that's another accident. And this time it's Aaron Johnson who's going to. Ma che bravi che non fanno neanche vedere. Altro contatto dietro. Minchia se le stanno dando oggi. He's got the 10-second penalty. He's been pushed into second. Anche Gonzalez vuole star davanti anche se c'è la penalità. Passano in esterno. Roland Fletcher è dietro lì che spinge, cerca l'interno all'ultima curva per prendere la seconda posizione, forse ce la fa. È davanti a Gonzalez, è davanti. Cicero irraggiungibile, testa a testa dietro. I tre. Che cazzo di finale, cazzo! Che cazzo di finale! No vabbè, ma che spettacolo di gara, cazzo, anche questa qua, che spettacolo! Mamma mia, che spettacolo, che show queste Mazda, porca troia! Che ficata di gara! Mamma mia, che finale! Due finali, uno più bello dell'altro! Porca troia! Porca troia! Allora, rivediamo perché qua non ho capito chi è che ha dato il via al trenino che è arrivato lungo e ha spinto tutti.
I think the 22 got help as well from John Jodwan, possibly from the 39.
Warcon, poverino, è lui quello che ha buttato fuori Thomas, ma non ne poteva niente. C'è stato un tamponamento a catena, c'è stato lì dietro. E qua Jenson e la 39, adesso mi ricordo chi è. Ok. Sì, infatti gli è andata di lusso a Cicero, gli è andata veramente di lusso. Che gara, che figata, porca troia, che bella gara che è stata. E che finale di nuovo. Wow. Wow. Chissà quanto gli gira. Ciao Giovanni, bentornato. Avevi già messo il follow ieri. Ci vediamo stasera, Andrea. Ciao ragazzo. Buon lavoro, buona conclusione.
3 cars within the top 5 after the first and the third in yesterday's race. This is what we expect from MMR, from two champions in the form of Chad McCumbee and Stephen McAleer putting together this race team. This is exactly what they are finally delivering.
Oh, le premesse per una mission pilot di 4 ore stupenda e una Rolex 24 ci sono tutte. Ci sono tutte. Andre. Ti ho salutato, Andre, ti ho detto buon lavoro, buona continuazione, ci vediamo stasera, Ciccio, grazie della compagnia.
Ethan Tyler getting up into the top 10 in 7th. John Jodwan finished after that sideways moment in 8th.
È partito tutto dalla 39 dietro. È arrivato un po' troppo lungo e ha colpito tutti.
But where is Jared Thomas? Answer down in 16th.
Ah, ottimo.
Western Workman in 14th. Aaron Johnson in 15th. That's some heavy hitters not picking up big points.
I know that race control is evaluating the contact next.
Giovanni, ben arrivato, scrivi qualcosa, non ti mangio, presentati. Presentati, Giovannino. Scusa per la voce, ma sono 3 giorni che sto di merda. Anzi, 2 giorni che sto di merda, sono raffreddatissimo, influenzato. Concedetemi una giusta fatica nel parlare, dai. Gran gara comunque, gran gara.
Great Snit Cicero and he's number 83 for company Lear Racing. Heather Hadley had a tough race but fought back to 11th position. Western Workman was right at the sharp end of the field as well. We did have our first intervention of the wheel and safety car after the incident on the front straight. Flat spot entirely.
Eccolo qua l'incidente della caution.
And Jonathan Neudorf went around and then
Poi la ripartenza con l'erroraccio di Zilic. Qua la 55 l'abbiamo vista, si è girata, si era bloccata 4 minuti dalla fine. E Cicero porta a casa la prima vittoria di quest'anno. Buona, allora niente ragazzi, anch'io, aspetta, faccio ripartire un po' la musica. Anch'io vi saluto, vi ringrazio per essere rimasti qua. Se me lo concedete, vado a riposarmi un attimino, perché sto già di nuovo crollando. Quindi ci vediamo alle 19. 19:30 parte la gara, 19:10 faccio partire la live. Organizzatevi con la cena, davvero. Io ho già detto a Marta che ci spariamo una pizza alle 8, 8 e mezza, almeno vedere la prima mezz'ora di gara e poi staccarmi per mangiare. Oddio, sto a morire. A dopo, ragazzi. Grazie a tutti.